Hi, this is Gustav, the developer of TupiTube. Welcome to our channel. Let's talk about the exercise we're going to study today. Some weeks ago, I detected several students trying to post the same animation on our website. The structure of the exercise is quite simple. So let's take a look at the source file made by one of the students using TupiTube. There it is. This is the example. Quite simple actually. As you can see, in the center of the scene there is a triangle resting on a rectangle and a little circle simulating a ball bouncing over the triangle. I saw many exercises using this same formula, this same structure. So I think this will be a really interesting chance to show you how to do this exercise following the best practices using TupiTube, because in that way you can save a lot of time and the final result could be really nice, really cool. Before starting this animation exercise, I strongly recommend you to take a look at the TupiTube's number 5 and 6 available on our YouTube channel. 5 key concepts of motion. This TupiTube, it will be really helpful for you to do the exercise we're going to work on today. And also recommend you to watch the TupiTube number 6, telling a story with a dot. In fact, I recommend you to watch the whole series and do the exercise. Always, before starting an animation exercise, it's important that you visualize what you want to do before starting. I have seen a lot of kids trying to start animating from the very beginning, having no idea what is the structure of the animation they want to create. So the problem with that is that finally you lose a lot of time because you don't have a plan. So always plan your animation. Always, before starting, think the steps you want to follow so you can reach the best result at the end. We already saw the structure of the animation. The part of the animation that never moves is this triangle and this rectangle. So my suggestion is, as those elements never change in the animation, the best idea for them is to put them in the background mode of the project. For this example, we're going to focus only on the vector static background mode. That way that I always be present in the whole animation and we don't have to add it all the time in every new frame. The other important thing to have in mind for this project and for every project, for every exercise that you do with TupiTube, is that always think about the colors you want to use before starting the project. It's pretty important that you plan your animation, and part of that is that you include colors from the beginning. I have seen a lot of kids trying to animate without using colors and creating huge projects, and then when the animation is done they want to start painting, they want to start coloring. That's a terrible idea because you will lose a lot of time. Okay, another important thing that you should set from the beginning is the color of your background, which is this option in the color palette. I used to like the blue color, but you can choose the colors you want. And this will be the start of my exercise. So this is how we are going to start creating our background, choosing the color of our background, and now we are ready to start animating the bouncing ball. Okay, so we are going to define the road, the path of the bouncing ball that is going to move through the scene. I recommend you doing this because this guide will allow you to be clear on the positions for the ball that you will be adding frame by frame. Okay, we get back to the vector static background mode. I'm using a line. I like to use the red color to show that this is not a definitive part of the animation, it's just a complementary temporary line that I'm going to use as guide. Okay, using the line tool, I used to create the line, and then using the tool, the node editor, I modify the line so I can give it the form I want to. I also, when I'm using auxiliary paths, I like to use this pattern of line. This is important. You have to add it in the static background mode, so in that way you don't need to add it in every frame. At the end of the animation, of course, we will remove it. Okay, now that we have the background and the path of the bouncing ball, the next step, and it is to add the keyframes for the animation. the key positions for the trajectory of the bouncing ball. So you will be adding the first frames for the animation, including those positions that you consider are the one that defines the movement of the ball. For this example, basically you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 keyframes. After that, you will have to add the in-between frames, which is the complementary frames that allow us to create the real illusion of movement. So in this new sketch, I want to show you in blue, you will see the keyframes of the animation. But in gray, you will see all the frames I have to add to create the illusion of movement from the bouncing ball. So let's count how many frames in total I have to create, including the keyframes and the in-between frames. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Exactly 24 frames I had to add to the animation to create that illusion. This is some kind of summary, a general vision of the path and the movement of the bouncing ball through this scene. This is what we are going to create. Okay, the next step is to create the frames. This is an animated version of the exercise. So if I move to the exposure sheet, you will see how the bouncing ball is moving through the scene. For every frame, the bouncing ball is in a different position. A little recommendation I would like to tell at this point is that always create empty frames before and after the animation. In that way, you can see how the ball appears in the scene and how it disappears. Okay, now this one we can play it, and this is an important point that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the animation. For all the exercise, to avoid the necessity of creating a lot of frames, we're always are going to work with an FPS value of 12. So for school students, I think that a good number to create basic exercise without requiring a lot of work is 12 for the FPS variable. So let's play it and let's see how it goes. Only one detail that is important. Notice that when the ball hits the surface of the rectangle, it blends, right? As this is some kind of rubber ball or something like that. This is a little detail that matters when you want to create the illusion of movement. For example, in the case of a ball, it's important that you change the shape, stretching a little the ball while it hits the ground, and then in the second bounce it does it. At this point, we already have an interesting advance, if you wish, of the animation, but we need to finish it, of course. So let's work on it. Next step. In this scene, I want to show you how the animation looks without the auxiliary path. I remove it from the animation, so let's take a look without the auxiliary path. It's a fluid, smooth movement. I like it, actually. Okay, now I'm going to show you the final result with colors, and let's take a look at it. For example, I could add sound effects for the bouncing ball, when it hits the ground, if you wish, the rectangle. I could add a sound effect like boing, boing, boing. It could be done, but so far I want to keep it simple. Of course, in the future I will keep doing this kind of sessions, explaining the exercise so you can do it in a better way. Right now, this is my first try doing these live sessions in a long time. Several years ago I tried. Now I'm getting back with these sessions. I hope you like it. Please let me know in the comments of this video if you want me to post this source file in case you want to take a look at it. I will post it on our TupiTube website so you can download the source file and take a look at all these references that I create to explain this animation. And this is so far a good start, I think, for this series of live sessions. That's all for now. I hope you enjoy it and see you in the next video.